So if you're spending $100 a day on Facebook ads and feel stuck, this video is for you. I'm gonna be walking you through the two real ad accounts, one spending $100 a day, another spending $1,000. Both apparel brands, same platform, completely different outcomes. So I've helped over 300 clothing brands grow and scale profitably in the last 12 months alone using the system. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly why one brand broke through and the other stayed stuck, including the creative strategy, the clothing offer equation, and the full breakdown that makes scaling possible. By the end of this video, you'll know what's holding your ads back and exactly what to do to break past the $100 a day ceiling. But here's the twist. The $1,000 a day brand didn't just spend more, they told a different, some would argue, a better subjective story. And I'll show you exactly how they did it in a few minutes. But first, let's look at where the brand that's spending $100 a day broke down. All right, so these are two brands, $100 a day. Both of them are one campaign, but a little bit about this brand. So they're based out of the New York area. They're US based. Both brands are actually US based. This is a private label. It is a fitness brand. They've kind of more so started to niche down from just the women's market into athletics, but more so the women's line into more of a Pilates side of things. So niching down even more. The brand's goal and the brand's kind of mission, or the phrase, slogan, if you will, is to be unapologetically you, which we'll come back to here in a second. But this brand has one campaign set up. A little bit of a backstory here. The brand owner is running the ads themselves. They also used to have an agency, and prior to that, the reason that I know them anyway is they were part of our program. They were an OSO program member, which is a 12-month program to kind of, as she was just starting the business, to start paid ads, to start scaling, start growing. Then went the agency route after her 12 months, and we have just stayed in touch. So that is how I'm bringing this up to you guys. All of this is real numbers. All of these are real data. I did get permission to share data. It's back to a one campaign setup. So it's broad, meaning open targeting. She's lasered it down to like what kind of women she's going after and has excluded men. And for the most part, pretty much left it up to the creative to do the marketing and testing. This is the last 7 days. We could go historical and go farther back, but I think for this intents purposes, we'll just look at the last 7 days to look at actual data. So $600 in spend in this particular campaign for this brand. So they've gotten 9 purchases, $521 in conversions. You may say, okay, $61 purchase, is that a lot? It just depends. Every brand's different. If her average order value is $150, then no, it's actually great. If her average order value is $73, then not so great. I put in some columns here that we can go off of. Looks like the ads are doing well. People are engaging with them. It's an engaging concept. It's a concept that they have done previously. Good link click-through rate, cost per 1,000 impressions, in that range. You're gonna see that if you are creating some good ads or getting a ton of add to carts, people aren't necessarily taking action, right? So we got a 91 people adding to cart and only 9 purchases. So lots of people taking action, just not getting pushed over the edge here. We're gonna speak directly on the ad side of things first, but Meta is telling me that I have a 0.95. So every dollar I spend, I make 95 cents. And then we have a 77% of them are new people in the last 7 days, which is great. So we have a good ad, and it's like, okay, this is awesome. One of the ads is doing well, meaning that it's getting purchases. Some people get 0. Last significant edit was 7 days ago. It's on a Monday. I always try to tell people, this goes for both accounts, you should be looking to update your creative, get into an actual system, whether it's every Monday or whether it's every Friday, whatever, you need to do new creative, right? So this ad has been running and it's very similar. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? What is different about these ads? So I have one that's showing the leggings price. Okay, one showing the price. The offer here, and we'll get into the clothing author equation here in a second, the leggings that lift you up, literally. Okay, so that's nice, a little bit of a value there, kind of makes me think of something visual, but a third of the price, better the quality. Okay, we're going off of price here. Let's check this out. So which one is actually getting the purchases? So we got something here. Now it would create some iterations of this. Could be, instead of Aloe, could it be Lulu versus Bex? Could it be wherever? So whenever you're creating an ad, a couple of things that I would do here, right? So you do the 3 I's, and we've spoken about this before. If you've already been here before, we need to be reminded more than we be told. So number 1 is imitate. Number 2, iterate. Number 3 is to innovate. So she has something that's working here. Do we want to lower that cost? Yes. Is it getting purchases? Yes. Am I upset about it? No. I mean, it's 7 days. What could I do? I would come up with some iterations of this. I would do a different visual hook. Instead of walking into it, could you jump into it? I would do another us versus them where, again, it's Lulu versus the other one. Could I do a different background? But I'm not really testing a bunch of like little things or even looking at the copy. I'm looking at visual hooks. Is it a major change that I could be doing? And so I would launch 3 new variations of this us versus them. And I would keep the original. This one isn't getting any spend. It was turned off. Looks like it may have been running for a longer time period from whenever this wasn't obviously doing well. $40 and $3. I would potentially leave on the second one because it's got some clicks. It's also got some add to carts, but I would turn off this top one here, and then I would come up with a new iteration for that. Again, for my budget per day. Typically, you're gonna do what's called the content strategy or the document here. So you'd wanna select your focus. Is this something that's evergreen? Like again, her leggings they're evergreen. You could run this forever. She could run them until Christmas. She could run them until 4th of July. And then find an offer. She doesn't have an offer on this. So it's something that, again, we'll talk about the clothing offer equation. It doesn't have to be a deal. It doesn't have to be a discount. It can be something of value. So we'll see. Then you go through the concept. So she had, I wouldn't consider us versus them like its own concept alone, but a variation of one. So we have here, there are 10 kind of concepts. She chose us versus them in this example, and she's testing them out and creating new content from that. So inside of here, there's some examples of a foreplay we have created. If you want access to this foreplay board and examples of us versus them type of content and even more, just comment foreplay down below. I will send that to you. She could come up with some variations. She could use the foreplay board as inspiration and go through that. But what I would challenge her to do is come up with different examples. Could you come up with new things, for example, statistics? Could you do some things with different headlines, which this is what a headline looks like. So the headline is basically like text. Could she do something with the text here on the side? Could she do headlines? It's probably the most basic and easiest thing to do. Could she do a founder story? But those are all just different angles. I think more than anything, we talk about this a lot, is understanding who is your audience. When she's creating this content, she's creating it, or she should be creating it as an early stage founder, as a small business owner. It's typically yourself, right? Your audience is who you are. So if you know your audience to the nth degree, why, right? Are they buying from Aloe? Probably. Are they buying from Viore? Are they buying from Lulu? Okay, cool. What are their problems? What would I do? So what I would do is I would go to Reddit, I would go to Amazon, I would go to anywhere those places have reviews, and I would find out all the negative things about these brands or the gaps in the marketplace between Aloe and Lulu and Viore. And then I would add those pieces here or add visual hooks to these us versus them. Because again, this is good. Good gets you $60 purchases. Great could probably drop this down to a $25 or a $30 purchase and start scaling up. So that's $100 a day. And there's so many other factors to this, but that's $100 a day. What can you do there? What can you be testing? A couple of other things I would say is if you're at $100 a day, I'd be creating content like crazy, or more so creating quality. Try not to use this word. We'll talk about it a little bit later. That's subjective. I would create content that you spend time on and think through. The more effort you put into it, high effort content. But I would be doing reels, and then I would be doing carousels. Right now, if you look at it this way, reels are still up and to the right, but carousels are kind of like this. They're going vertical. There's a lot of opportunity to grow with carousels right now. So I'd be creating a lot of that type of content. And again, speaking directly to the audience, because when I do that, I'm going to resonate with them. And these things right here are going to help your Facebook ads. Organically creating good content will help your Facebook ads. All right, so this brand spent $6,700 over a 2-day period. So I know that's more than $1,000 a day. I want to give you guys some, as I was thinking about this, just giving you more data behind this as it starts to scale. Because this brand started the same way, just like you. Whether you're $50 a day or $100 a day, they scaled up like that over time. They did not become a 7-figure company overnight. It did take them about 3 years, so it was a year into it, figuring it out, stumbling. Maybe that's you. Year 2 started to grow. Year 3 really scaled up, and then this year we are, really hitting stride. So $6,700 in the last 3 days. You will see that it is just one campaign, much like the other brands, so nothing different. The ad set level, there's 3 campaigns inside of here. There's no rhyme or rule or reason for that. I would just say that if you're spending $100 a day, I would do 2 ad sets max. When you're setting up ad sets here or creative, so you have it as this, and this goes for both sides. You have it set up like this, so you'll have one campaign, multiple ad sets, so 2 ad sets if you're at about $100 a day, and then you could have ads within inside of those. This isn't a video to break down exactly how to build the campaigns. That's not what you're here for. Whether you're using Flexible, neither one of these are using Flexible. I do suggest that. It's a good way to test. It's basically old versions of DCT or dynamic creative testing, where you could do 3 pieces of creative, all following like this us versus them kind of imitation, or one ad set that would do like us versus them, and then one that was doing like benefits and features. You could do it that way. However, it doesn't matter. They didn't set it up this way. What's going on here? So we're getting $27 purchases, $32 purchases, $39 purchases in the last 2 days. 124, 83, 16. Made $27,000 from a $6,000 spend. 2,800 add to carts, 4x return. And you guys are probably thinking, wow, if you spend more, you'll make more. That's true, but that doesn't mean that you're always going to make the same return on investment. Spending more does not always mean you're going to make more money. At the end of the day, it does not. So this is a brand, like I said, they're out of Texas. They are a women's clothing boutique. They are very specific in who they're talking to. I think one of the biggest reasons that they are successful is because they do one thing very, very well, and it is why they're using carousels here instead of image ads. The $100 a day brand, great at creating content. I love the content she is creating. And this brand in particular just really, really knows their audience. Talks to them, speaks to them with their writing and their emails and their SMS and everything that they're doing. It is funneled through with their messaging. And I will tell you this as well, right? Nothing is different between either of these 2 brands other than a couple of minor tweaks here, which we're going to get into the numbers. Both of them were OSO program members, Optimized Store Owner program members to us. Both of them worked with us for 12 months. Actually, one brand did work with us. This brand worked with us for a little over 2 years and re-upped in the program. One of them did like a year and like 3 to 4 months. So not really too much different there as they are kind of launching and scaling their brands. It just really comes down to a couple of key factors here. But let's look at this. So first time impression, they actually reach less new people. Even at that spend, they reach less new people by percentage. So the other content is technically better. Click-through rate, let's look at that. These numbers are slightly better, in line with what the ones were at previously. But again, nothing outlandish. It's just spending more money, but the return is higher, right? Why is that? Landing page. So where they land to, the product pages they got to, the product descriptions, the marketing that they did to the audience. So let's go look at this campaign or this ad set here. So it's new arrivals. Everybody loves a new arrival. Everybody loves the word new, no matter which it is. Like everybody wants the latest new iPhone. Why? Because it's got Apple Intelligence. What else? Nothing else. It's just new. Women, in particular, love new clothes. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love getting a new package with that? So they're going after their audience and hitting on an emotional state. Says, hey, I want new content. They are running a carousel. It is broad. So the campaign is CBO, campaign budget optimization, which means it distributes budget based off of the ad sets, based off the campaign to the ad sets that are doing better. Nothing changes. They are also going after the same type of people. The only thing is they're literally doing a carousel right now. So no clue why it is not loading their actual products, but all it is, just to give you guys context, it is pulled from their Shopify website. It is connected there and is broken down by category. So they pull the full collection line into this. It pulls the data from Shopify. Their information is very clear, is very specific. It literally tells them, welcome to this brand, how you'll find the trendy, modest, like to tell you exactly who it is. It's an ad that's very top of the funnel. They're not using ads for anything except for acquisition. They don't care to retarget. They don't care to do any of that. It's just like literally, here it is. The good thing of a carousel, and because they have so many new products, and I'll give you some context here. These ad sets are based off of categories from women who have told them what they like, right? So here's a very specific category line, new, what is trending and what is new. That's it. So what's new, what's trending, and a category line that has been proven over time. It's getting the least amount of spend. You have trending, because again, people love to be on trend. People love new products. And then again, we're gonna throw in some shoes here shortly with that. But the whole point for how all this work is getting new products for them. It's every day. Some can do it every week, some do every month. But the point is they have a strategy in place. They didn't always have this strategy. How would they scale up to $10,000 a day? Honestly, they would just do more of what they're already doing. They're gonna run into so many other back end issues, but specifically for the ads, they could scale up this carousel. They could create new creative. It's not their forte. I would say at the end of the day, their forte has more to do with their messaging, and right now messaging is trumping creative. Could the private label, the athletic line, beat this brand eventually? 100%. They could actually spend more per day, but they're gonna have to play a different game. And everybody plays a slightly different game, but it all comes down to what is your creative and what is your competitive advantage. This brand does not have a creative advantage. They have a messaging advantage, and right now that's working. Right now that is beating and winning and scaling, and like I said, we're at $3,400 per day in the actual spend. The real difference between these, the system. Most people think scaling happens in Ads Manager, but real growth, it happens before you even launch a campaign. So then let's break down the system, the weekly creative cadence. All right, guys, so hey, howdy, and hello. So my name is Aaron. I'm one of the co-founders here at BitBranding, alongside my business partner, Christian. I focus on growing and scaling clothing brands. In the last 12 months, we've helped over 300 brands grow and scale profitably online. And if you have found any value in this video so far, I would really appreciate it if you guys give us a nice little like and subscribe. If you do this in the next 3 seconds, I'll tell you the highest grossing movie from 2007. Great series, by the way. And that is the Pirates of the Caribbean. Did not know that. So one thing that these brands both are doing, they just do not have intention behind it, or some more intention than others, is that they are focused on some offer, right? Whether you have a true offer into the marketplace or you do not, but there is one. It's just whether or not it's good. Your offer could be a free shipping, it could be intentional, or it could not be intentional. I'm going to share with you the clothing offer equation. If you're familiar with Alex Hormozi, this is some homage to him for his value equation. I just took that, recompartmentalized, and recreated it from scratch to be specific to apparel and really break down what will actually help people sell some more clothes. And the two brands that we talked about, one spending $100 a day, one spending $1,000 a day, what are the differences? But inside of here, right, so we have the S, which is the style aspiration. This is that dream outcome. What dream outcome was the first brand trying to sell us, right, with better leggings? Something about the dream outcome was that we could buy quality products for a discount? I don't know. The second brand, the style aspiration, what is it, right? It's the newest, it's the most trendy, it's a higher level of product line. Then you have quality and fit confidence. So how confident are customers that your garments, we will deliver on the expectations, reliable, construction, perfect fit. Again, quality and fit. Either one of them, I'm not giving them a super high score. So the first brand, she did mention like what type of benefits and features were there. I think it actually says the leggings that actually lift you up. So it's like, okay, quality and fit. Looks like I got something there, good. The second brand, there wasn't really anything, right? The products were doing the selling for them. It was again about the newness more than it was really the quality, okay? Then you have the bottom numbers, or the bottom equation, the denominator here. So what's the waiting time? One of them, the first brand, I think you get free shipping over a certain amount. The second brand is free shipping over a certain amount. The waiting time, okay, so just went over there to look. The original brand, the first brand, 2 to 4 days to process orders and then ship it out. And the second brand said basically 1 to 4 days. So in the same time frame there, one offers free shipping on $100. The first brand offers free shipping over $50 and free returns. So a little bit better offer, if you will, from that. Shopping friction, so any hassles during the buying process, site speed, checkout complexity, unclear return policies. Nothing from either one of the brands is really like standing out as far as any type of shopping friction, as far as speed or unclear things or anything that's complex. I always tell you the first brand, the athletic line, had some complexities in the brand but have been fixed. The hero section is still rocking and rolling now, and it actually shows the ideal customer who's in ads, who's also in the hero section, who's also in product pages, so there's some consistency there. And then price sensitivity. I think the first brand, again, they are lowering the price and then to the value, right? So there's a good gap, there's a smaller gap there. And so the second brand, again, same thing. They're adding high value and the prices are very fair in the boutique kind of fast fashion world. So kind of the same. You're like, okay, what the heck? All of these brands are very similar here. And you're right, they are. The difference between a 1 or 5% or 10% growth or 20% growth month over month or getting these things to scale really comes down to, are you creating content for your audience? Are you clear to that audience, right? And then what is your offer to the marketplace? Could they each get better at this? Absolutely. 100% they could all get better. We could all get better at these things. But that is why I want to break down this brand story framework, because it is the important part. And the reason, again, that I go back here to say that the second brand, the boutique, why they are reaching and selling more is not just because they are spending more, but because they have figured out their brand story framework a lot easier than the first brand, the athletic one. The $1,000 a day brand wasn't just selling clothes. They were pushing a shift. Their customer was done blending in. They made a product to match that energy. And at the end of the day, they're more so creating products or curating products that were focused on their demographic. People who actually care, people who are really focused on sharing their faith and spiritual background, right? So their mission, their audience are typically Christians, faith-based background, and kind of ingrained that throughout their whole message. And it became more clear as you continued to look through their products and their website. Like, what do you see that others don't? Why does your brand exist now? Then you go into the core truth about what sets you apart. They believed in the quiet confidence, not loud logos. That belief has shaped their creative targeting and the copy. You have to ask, what belief do you hold that others do not? For example, some would argue that, they believe in the Christian faith and they use that throughout their brand, and some people do not, and that actually probably repelled people away. And that's fine. They found their audience. The proof. How do you reinforce this? They showed up the same way everywhere. UGC, the product pages, even post-purchase emails, every touch reinforced their identity, not just their ads, right? Because again, all of the success we're talking about here, in the title of the videos, $100 a day versus $1,000, that's how much we're spending on ads, but all of the magic, kind of the brand side of things, happens outside of that. Does your brand get clearer or blurrier the more that someone sees it? You have to ask yourself that. Hold up, so if you're a clothing brand and want to go into your specific growth strategy and follow our framework that we have used over the last 10 years, you can check out the link in the description down below and book you a free 45-minute strategy session. There are limited spots, so go check out the link in the description down below right now. All right, so let's clear the air. Spending more won't fix a broken offer, okay? I just want to say that. $100 a day over here, whoops. $100 a day over here or $1,000 a day over here, spending more money will not fix it, right? If you don't have a good brand story and you have that figured out, if you do not have a good offer, if you do not have all the little intricacies in the brand figured out, spending more will not fix the problem. Retargeting won't save your weak creative. Ads manager, that's where performance shows up, but the real work happens before the launch. And if you're scaling without a weekly content rhythm, and I say this, right? I just say Mondays, right? Because it's a lot easier to just think of it as like Monday, I update my creative. Throughout the week, I'm testing, I'm reviewing, I'm looking at data, and then I update creative and I go back to that content scaling strategy document that I showed you, and I'm going through and I'm like, am I doing us versus them? Am I doing headlines? Am I doing features and benefits? What kind of content am I actually creating? If you're scaling without a weekly content rhythm, a clear offer, and a belief-backed brand, you're not scaling. Honestly, this is just, not to be a play on words, you're just gambling. All right, so here it is, all broken down very simply. Testing creative every single week. Clothing author equation, your offer, your brand framework. Retention system. This could be email, it could be SMS, it could be another tool like retention. If you're spending over 100, if you're getting 10,000 people to your homepage per day, check out retention.com. There's a link in the description down below. But outside of that, retention system could be email, SMS. Many of the brands that we work with are spending $50, $75, $120 a day inside of our program, and they get stuck. No different at $120 a day as it is 500. People still run into actual issues with their brand. All we had to do is understand a little bit more about who their audience was. They were trying to sell patriotic t-shirts to just literally everybody who's a patriot, versus what we did when we broke down is that it actually turns out his shirts are for patriots, people who love the United States, but also those who love going to the gym. And not even to the gym in the sense that like they needed to do, to stay in shape. They were the ones who were like power lifters, right? So it's patriotic power lifters, and we positioned that in the marketplace, and that's what helped us stand out, and that's what actually started us to be able to scale us up. Now he's doing $300-400 a day, which is awesome. Shout out to this guy. But it all took about 3 weeks, right, of testing different things, right? We tested new hooks, new offers, new positioning. We applied the clothing offer equation. So it was buy 2 shirts, I'll tell you the offer, buy 2 shirts, get a free hat, I believe. And now, like I said, they're spending $300, $400, $500 a day, and the goal is to get to 1,000, right? And we're probably 3-4 weeks away from that right now. You know what separates $100 a day and $1,000 a day brands. So now that you have those things in place, you need to go watch this video on how to grow your brand with Instagram ads right here next. All right, y'all, appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time, and P.S., make sure you subscribe.